Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you again. Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and thank you so much for joining me today. I really love recording these podcasts because it gives me an opportunity to take a look into the technology world, and I get to share that world with all of you listening. So thank you so much for listening, and make sure you subscribe to this podcast and reach out through social media, because not only do I enjoy listening and recording this podcast with you guys, I really love taking the conversation outside of the podcast world so that we can connect and really talk about your guys' thoughts and your guys' opinions on things we talk about in the episodes. So make sure you're subscribed, and if you have an idea of something you want me to talk about, write it in the review down below. Or if I'm doing something consistently wrong, write it in the review down below. If I'm doing something consistently great, write it in the review down below. I absolutely love compliments, so please give them to me. But also I love feedback, so definitely just reach out because I would love to hear more from you guys. So thank you for listening to the GSMC Technology Podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to have a lot of fun because this morning I was reading this article about tech gadgets that can help you improve your workout. And, you know, it's 2020. The new year has just started. Everything's very new year, new me. Everyone is trying to work out and be the best versions of themselves. And I'm doing it too, guys. I went for a 30-minute run the other day, and now my legs hurt, and I'm recording this podcast from my living room floor because I can't seem to get up. So working out is definitely a challenge, and if there was a tech gadget out there that was going to help me, of course I would want to be a part of that. But as I was reading this article, I had the thought of, wow, some of these are really cool, but some of these are also very, very dumb and very, very gimmicky. So what I want to talk about on today's episode is the best and the worst tech products out there to help you with your workout. I did already do a podcast where I talked about tech gadgets that will help you with your New Year's resolutions. Not many of these were on that list. In fact, I believe none of them were on this list. So if you are feeling like you need a little bit of support with your New Year's resolution and you're looking for a tech way to help you, go check out that podcast because I do think there were some very useful tools on there that would help you with your New Year's goals. This one is strictly, though, for people who are looking to work out and want to avoid gimmicks, but they also are looking for a little bit of extra help when it comes to working out. So we're going to talk about the best and the worst. But to start out today's podcast, I really love sharing with you guys news stories of what's happening in the world of technology because it's always changing, it's always developing. So I really love starting out the podcast with a bit of an update for everybody. So the first story is, and I almost actually talked about this one on my marketing podcast because it does seem like it would fit into both, but I think it does fit into technology a little bit more. So Mark Hamill has quit Facebook over political ads. He has put out a tweet saying, "So disappointed that hashtag Mark Zuckerberg values profit more than truthfulness, that I've decided to delete my Facebook account. I know this is a big who cares for the world at large, but I'll sleep better at night. Hashtag patriotism over profits." So Mark Hamill is definitely addressing something that we've all been thinking about for a long time. Not that we've all been thinking about Mark Zuckerberg and his values in the world, but we have been thinking about what Facebook's move is going to be with political advertising. It's been a hot topic for quite a while. Spotify has opted out of doing political ads altogether because they just don't have the resources to monitor them. Google is doing political ads, but there's major restrictions put around them of you can only really target, I think it's like country and sex. So, and like regions, postal code. So very restricted. Meanwhile, Facebook has really been doing nothing about it and has just sort of been letting it go and be free. So it's definitely been something we've all been talking about with limitations to technology and sort of letting tech be its own thing, or if it should mix into the world of political advertising, if that's important. Rob Leatherin, Facebook's director of product management, said, ultimately, we don't think decisions about political ads should be made by private companies. In the absence of regulation, Facebook and other companies are left to design their own policies. We have based ours on the simple principle that people should be able to hear from those who wish to lead them, warts and all, and what they say should be structuredized and debated in public. So this is what I'm trying to get at here, guys, and he did say it in his quote, is does political advertising belong in the technology world? And like I said, I was going to talk about this in my marketing podcast because does it belong in the marketing world? It is a very complex situation, and there are a lot of players at play here. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole ordeal and what you think Facebook should be doing or what you think Facebook shouldn't be doing when it comes to this type of advertising. The next story is that Amazon has lifted their FedEx ban, and you are now able to have your products delivered for same-day delivery through FedEx. This ban happened, I believe, at the beginning of December, and it was temporarily suspended for all Prime shipments, citing that there was poor delivery performance, that, you know, Amazon really, really wants to take care of its customers, really wants to take care of the trust that they have spent so long building with their customers, that they were getting poor feedback about FedEx ground delivery. So they put a ban on it, but that did cause a lot of companies to, you know, have to pick up the slack, and a lot of products got missed, and it was, you know, the holiday season. So things were definitely stressful, but no need to be stressed anymore because the ban has been lifted and we can all get back to doing some ground delivery and getting those products sooner rather than later. The next story is that Google is getting rid of third-party cookies that track all of our data over the internet. And oh my goodness, am I so excited about this. This is fantastic and wonderful, and apparently going to take 2 years to fully develop, but I am willing to wait. I am an avid user of Google Chrome, and cookies drive me insane despite their very adorable name. So the third-party cookies can be used to track user target ads and see how people are performing with the cookies and how they're using the technology. So very interesting to see that Google Chrome is getting rid of that feature. Again, this would be a topic for the marketing podcast, but you know, it's interesting to see what will happen with Google Ads and Google Analytics to see how those ads are tracking if they're getting rid of the cookies. So Apple's Safari and Mozile's Firefox have also made similar moves to limit their cookies, which is just great. It seems like the internet will become a lot less bogged down with all of these little tools that track what we do and create ads for us. So very interesting to see and very exciting for me to hear about because I am definitely anti-cookie. Not anti-real cookies, though. I want to be clear. If anyone wants to send me some chocolate chip cookies, go ahead because I love a good physical cookie. I don't like a good tech cookie, though, however. Let me know what you think of Google getting rid of their third-party cookies that track our data down below in the review, or come over to social media with me where we'll carry on the conversation later today. I'll be tweeting out some of these articles that talk about it. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but get ready because when you come back, we're going to be talking about the top 8 useful products that could really improve your workout. And then after that, we're going to talk about the top 8 products that are just gimmicky and sort of silly. And I don't know, we'll have a good laugh, we'll have a good time, because you are listening to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll be right back.
This week on the Fundamentals Report, we look at one industry sector that will noticeably outperform the cannabis green rush. Investing in high-growth trend is proven to be one of the best ways to build wealth, and although the cannabis sector has proven successful for many investors, there is one industry sector that is set to significantly outperform cannabis. This same sector is the focus of giants such as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and innovative content and technology leader Real-Time VR, trading as RLTR. Virtual reality is the highly disruptive technology which is quickly becoming part of all consumers' lives and will impact almost every major industry sector. Over the next few years, VR will begin to realize its potential with an estimated 171 million active VR users, generating nearly $121 billion in sales. For more information on VR and other stories, visit thefundamentalsreport.com.
Do you work in the world of marketing and advertising? Are you a media buyer or the owner of an agency? Have you been looking for a podcast to help stay on top of all the goings on of those worlds? The GSMC Marketing News Podcast is dedicated to keeping you up to date on all things concerning marketing and advertising. Get the latest marketing news, from what major businesses have planned for the coming year to the newest trends in advertising, from podcasts, digital and streaming, to the old standbys of radio, television, and billboards. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast has you covered, whether you're a marketing agent or a business trying to expand your brand.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and before the break, we were talking about what is new in the technology world. We talked about Amazon lifting their ban on the FedEx ground deliverers, which is great. We talked about Mark Hamill quitting Facebook because of political ads, and we talked about Google finally getting rid of cookies, which is making me extremely happy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to see what is going to happen with that story next. Before the break, I teased about what we would be discussing when we came back, and the main subject of today's podcast really is exercise tech gadgets that will either help and improve your workout or are a gimmick and you should stay away from them. So to start out, we are going to talk about the top 8 products that I find would be super useful for you in your workout and would really help push you a little bit further. So the number one, the thing that I really think would be super useful, obviously number 8 is going to be the most useful, but this is in the top 8 and it's pretty great, is the Upright Go Posture Trainer. So I've talked about this on other podcasts. I'm really bad about hunching over my laptop and working on stuff. Later when I'm playing video games, it's even worse, way more of a hunch. So I really need something that is going to improve my posture, especially when you're working out, because lifting weights or doing squats or running can really mess up your posture if you're not already standing up straight, if you're not already doing those extra steps to make sure that you have good posture. So if you're someone who struggles with posture, definitely look into this tech gadget. I've seen them work. I think they work really, really well, and I give it an A+. I think this product is super great, super sleek, and super helpful for your workout. The Sculpt Performance Training System. So this is one that normally, I might try to argue would go on either of the list. It's definitely something that a lot of people might find useful, but also might think, oh, that's kind of a bit of a gimmick. Basically, what it's going to do is measure your overall body fat percentage by just rubbing this thing over top of you. It measures 24 different muscle groups in various areas of your body. And the thing that I like about it, the reason it made it into the top 8, is that you can personalize it to fix your workouts in the future. So it's not just scanning your whole body. It is actually trying to help you improve on your workouts and show you the areas of your body that actually need work. Because a lot of people are like, I want to be skinny, but they don't really know much more than that. Or I want to have muscles, but they don't know how to grow their muscles. They don't know how to become skinny. So this really is going to help you focus in on those areas. And it's called the Sculpt Performance. It's going to help you sculpt your body, right? So I definitely would recommend this product because although there are similar products out there that are a little bit more gimmicky, I think this one is the real deal. Same with the NutriBullet Balance Smart Blender. So this is basically, I think we've all seen commercials for the Magic Bullet. I had a Magic Bullet and I absolutely loved it. This takes it to another level because it also synchronizes with your smartphone and it tells you how much fat, calories, carbs are all in one smoothie that you're making. And it's just super useful because it's going to track all that data for you on your phone so that you can look back on how much you ate that day, how many carbs were consumed, how many calories were consumed, so that you can really keep track of what you're putting into your body. Because when people think about exercising, sometimes they only focus on the actual workout rather than focusing on what they're putting into their body. You have to think about both what you're putting in and what you're taking out. So the NutriBullet Balance Smart Blender definitely wins my award for best blender on the market right now because it is just super sleek and super helpful. And I love the size of the NutriBullets. They're super tiny and just pop into any of your little corners in your kitchen. The iHealth Core Smart Scale. I said on the former podcast where we talked about your New Year's resolutions about how I don't really like scales. I think they're almost a way of thinking backwards about your health journey because it then puts a number on it. But something like the iHealth Core Smart Scale is going to do a whole lot more than just give you a number. Instead, what it's going to do is tell you how much your body mass is, tell you how much fat is in your body, tell you how much is muscle, and it's going to record all of that information for you. So that's great because, again, I really like the idea of you getting to reflect on the progress you've made. And I like the added bonus of it's not just telling you a number, it's telling you what those numbers mean. And that is so important because sometimes people are burning muscle instead of fat, and that can totally undo all the work you're doing. So I think the iHealth Core Smart Scale is a really great piece of technology if you're looking to get serious about your workout. The next one that I put as number 5 should come as no shock to anyone that it is the Fitbit Charge 3. Of course, I was going to put some sort of Fitbit or Apple Watch on here because they really are super useful for keeping track of how many steps you've taken in a day, your heart rate. I have an aunt and uncle, Jan and Barry, who they have it on there so that they can make sure they don't have like a heart arrhythmia or anything like that. So I do think those type of tech products are super helpful when you're exercising a lot or when you just want to keep an eye on your heart rate. So definitely check out any of the Fitbits, any of the Apple Watches when you're thinking about doing your workout. The Fitbit Charge 3 specifically is just the newest version of the Fitbit. And so it has different features. It has cooler features, and I definitely am a very big fan of it. The Bose SoundSport Free Wireless Headset, or headphones, sorry. The Bose SoundSport Free Wireless Headphones. So here's the thing. I used to be pretty anti-wireless headphones. I thought they were a huge gimmick. No, thank you. I am done. I have my set for years. They have a cord, and I don't hate it. It's fine. Everybody lay off. But then I tried a pair, and it changed my life. This pair specifically, the Bose SoundSport Free Wireless Headphones, stay in your ear while you're running. They give you quality sound, and they're just so handy to have around. They're not super expensive like the iPod phone ones, whatever those are called, AirPods. Instead, they're super affordable and super useful. And the pair that I used, they're owned by my roommate, and he's been using them for years now. So if you take good care of them, they'll take good care of you. And I just think this product is super useful for anyone who enjoys listening to music during their workouts. The Hyperlice Viper 2 Foam Roller. I may have said some of those words wrong. It's Hyperice Viper. You can Google it. I'll send out the link to all of the ones I recommended earlier today or later today, depending on when this podcast comes out, because I don't want to be tweeting exercise things and people not knowing what I'm talking about. So once this podcast comes out, listen to it and then go check our Twitter to check out any of these products. But this basically, I took a look at it and I was like, oh, this is going on the worst list for sure. This is super just technology being there for unneeded reasons. No one's actually going to use this. But then I looked into it a little bit more, and it's a foam roller. I thought it was just going to light up or something really silly like that, but it actually vibrates. So when you're working out your muscles after a long workout, it's going to vibrate those areas and really help soothe those sore muscles and get rid of any extra knots you may have in your legs or in your back. I know in physiotherapy, they use machines like this to really help you. They don't use it in a foam roller, so it's very interesting that it's in a foam roller, but they use machines like this to help stimulate your muscles and help you gain mobility back, which is why product number 8 is the Power Dot 2.0 muscle simulator. So this is very similar to the foam roller and very similar to the Dr. Ho machine. This is basically that, like that, but a little bit smaller. And again, it's just a machine that you hook up to yourself, and it's going to pulsate little beads of electricity through you. That's not really what it does, but it's going to vibrate your muscles and help you really work out some of those more tense areas and give you an overall healthier body, because sometimes we work out, we forget to stretch, we forget to do the good things for us, and things get tight and knotted, and we totally lose our will to work out, and I don't want that for anybody. So definitely look into either the foam roller or the Power Dot 2.0 muscle simulator, because it's really important to take care of your body after a workout. All right, everyone, that has been the top 8 products that I find most useful for any tech lover who is looking to up their fitness game. Let me know through social media, because I'll be tweeting out links to some of these later today, what you think the best product would be and which product you think you're going to check out next. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break on the podcast, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about the least useful tech gadgets that will not help your fitness journey at all, but we can have a good laugh about them because some of them are kind of silly. So stay tuned for that, because you are listening to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jaquish, and I'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jaquish, and I am so excited about today's episode. I've been having so much fun counting down the best products that could help your workout. And now the thing I'm really excited about, let's talk about the things that are just a straight up gimmick and you should totally avoid when shopping for a new piece of tech that might help your overall workout. So just to review some of the ones that were actually useful and you should actually look at, we talked about the Upright Go Posture Trainer, which is going to help you stand up straighter when you are working out, when you're sitting at your desk or anything like that. We talked about the Sculpt Performance Training System, which is basically a little gadget you run over your body and it tells you which areas need the most work, which muscle groups are stressed out, and maybe you need to spend a little bit more time on or a little bit less time on. We talked about the NutriBullet Balance Smart Blender, which is basically the NutriBullet, which I already love, but it is going to tell you how many carbs, calories, fat, and anything like that are actually in your smoothies that you're making. That way you're able to track what is going inside your body as well. The iHealth Core Smart Scale is going to help you track what is happening within your body. It measures body mass, muscle groups, fat, all of those things. It is much more than just your average scale. It is actually helping you learn more about your body, which I always think is super useful. We talked about the Fitbit Charge 3, and I recommended you just go out and buy any Fitbit that you want, but the Charge 3 does have the newest features and definitely will help you keep track of how many steps you're taking, your heart rate, and all of that fun stuff. The Bose SoundSport free wireless headphones. Again, I know I've talked about in the past how I don't really like wireless headphones, but these ones really did change my workout. They stay in your ear while you run, and they don't limit the sound quality, which is just two things that I find to be super important when it comes to wireless headphones. And the AirPods, whatever they're called, they don't stay in my ear, whereas the Bose SoundSport ones do. So definitely look into that if you're looking for a new wireless headphones. Then we talked about the HyperIce Viper 2 foam roller and the PowerDot 2.0 muscle stimulator, both things that are helping you recover after a long workout. So now that we're back, let's talk about the top 8 products that I know you guys are going to agree with me are just straight up gimmicks, and we don't need them, and we're not going to waste our money on them. Number 1 is the Osmo Active Smart Cup Hydration Tracker. I can't express my frustration with people who don't know that it's important to drink water every day. It is literally the only thing we actually need to drink to stay alive. So stop trying to buy gadgets, stop using apps to help you track it, and just drink the dumb water. You're going to feel better. The headaches are going to go away, and you're going to sleep better at night with clear skin. So don't go out and buy this fancy water bottle that is like, how much is it? The water bottle is $60 just to track how much water you're drinking during the day and will vibrate when you should drink more. Just drink the water with the plastic cup you have in your home. You're a big kid. You know that you're supposed to drink water when you're thirsty or when you're working out. So use the plastic cups you got in your cupboard and ditch the $60 Osmo Active Smart Cup. The Tangram Smart Rope. So this almost made it onto the list of things I thought were really cool and would help, because I think jumping rope is a really great cardio workout and really good for you, and I'm impressed by anyone who knows how to double dutch. But this rope is so expensive because it lights up and tells you how fast you're jumping mid-air, and it's pretty expensive for something that you're not actually going to be able to look at because you're going to be so busy, jumping rope. So I don't think you're going to be able to look at the display of facts that are happening mid-air with the LED lights. The rope costs $60, and it does track all your data, which is super cool. But I don't know. I just use a normal jump rope, guys. This seems super gimmicky to me. And if it seems gimmicky to me, I'm betting it sounds gimmicky to you as well. So definitely not a product for me. But I always like to say when I do reviews that are negative, these are just my opinions. Please do not take them to heart. If you are someone who is like inventing the Tangram Smart Rope, good for you for inventing something. I just don't think I would use it. Same with the iFit Sleep HR. Stuff like this kind of gets at me because it's always pretty expensive. This one's $119, and it has an alarm system attached to it. It's going to track your sleeping, your sleep style, and tell you if you're waking up a bunch in the night or if you're not falling asleep right away, if you talked in your sleep, stuff like that. And so, for health reasons, say you are wondering if you stop breathing in the night or something, definitely look into this, or a sleep apnea machine. Or you could spend $119 on this product. I don't know why anyone would pick this over a sleep apnea machine. Honestly, for me, I'm like, Sleep is sleep. As long as you're getting enough, you're good. The Sensier Smart Stock V2O. So this is another product that almost made it onto the other list, but then I had to stop myself and go, wait a minute. Are these actually useful? Because they're $200 socks. That's what they are, guys. They're socks. I don't know why I ever thought they would go on the other list. When I first looked at them, they're going to tell you how many steps you're taking, how many calories were burned, your speed, and all this. And I was like, yes, that sounds great. But then I realized they're a $200 pair of socks. And if I buy a Fitbit, it'll track all that for me. So I'm good without the socks. Thank you very much, Sensoria, but I'm good. The Beast Sensor. First of all, I'm really just against any product that uses the word beast. Like, when I work out, I don't go into beast mode. I'm not a warrior. I don't need something telling me that I am. I know what I am. I'm a host of a podcast show who wants to lose a couple pounds, so I'm going to the gym. I'm not going into beast mode. So maybe if you are, this product is for you. Basically what it's doing, it is tracking all of your lifts in addition to measuring the speed, force, and power of your movements. It's apparently very cutting edge, and a lot of people do seem to enjoy it. My problem with it is that it is $300 or more, depending on if you get all the added beast options. And I'm like, if you want to lift weights, just lift weights. I don't think you need to know how fast you're lifting them. Maybe you do. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not a big weightlifter. So if I am wrong about that, if this product might be useful, please let me know in the comments down below. This was one that I wasn't super sure about if it would be helpful because I'm just not someone who lifts weights. The Stealth Professional Plank System. Okay. Planking is the one thing in the gym that you don't need any piece of equipment for. So why are they trying to sell me equipment for doing a plank? I get that they're hard. Don't try to come at me right now and say, but planking's hard. And having a plank system might make it easy. It's made out of bioform and it has a support pad. And 2 gaming apps? No, thank you. Just do the core thing. Just plank. It's hard and it's difficult, but you're not going to build the muscle there if you just don't do it. So my rule is that if it's not actually useful, if it's not actually going to help me, why would I buy it? Also, why would I spend $300 on something that is basically just a foam mat? The next one is something that I think is super useful outside of the gym, and I was just shocked to see it on so many lists of something that would be used in the gym. It is the GoPro Hero 7 camera. The GoPro Hero 7 camera. I was confused as to why this was on a list of exercise equipment because I'm not someone who likes to record themselves working out. And it's not something I'm going to rewatch later. Maybe if you're doing it professionally, it makes sense to videotape yourself so that you can look at your form and your overall performance in the gym. But personally, I'm just like, this feels super gimmicky to put on a list, and it just seems like content to fill a list out. Also, they're $400. Use it for more than just the gym. The last one on the list is the Bowflex Select Tech 560 dumbbells. So these are someone, if you're looking to work out at home and you don't want to just have weights sitting around your house, these are 2 pairs of dumbbells that can go in between being 5 pounds to being 50 pounds, I guess, or more. For me, I'm just get the weights or go to a gym. For me, it just seems like it's super unneeded and just sort of technology for technology's sake. It does come with an app, which I find super unuseful as well. So, this is $500. If you're someone who's super passionate about lifting weights and you think this is a cool idea, then good for you. I'm just not into it, and it's not a product that I think would actually improve your workout rather than just distract from what you're actually trying to do. Okay, everyone, that is it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for taking time to listen, and let me know what you think are some tech gadgets that really help you improve your workout, or maybe some tech gadgets that you've bought that don't help at all, and you're like, ugh, why didn't I keep the receipt? Write it all in the review down below, or reach out through social media. Thank you so much for listening to the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.